Hello everyone, Cap here, and welcome back to some more Mechabellum. I left my comfort zone. I tried to play something very different from what I usually play and what I usually like. In this match, I'm going for some asymmetrical push action, meaning that I place most of my units on one side and I'm trying to push towards the enemy tower pretty quickly. So this is more of an aggressive style of play, which I usually don't like to play myself, but I thought, well, this is also part of the game and I haven't really tried it that much, so I wanted to give it another go. Let's get into it. I'm starting out as supply specialist with mustangs and crawlers. My opponent has fangs and steel balls. So right now I'm trying to figure out the positioning, which is really important for this, especially for this type of strategy. You don't want your units too clumped up so that the opponent can't counter you too heavily with actives, but also if you put your units way in the front, unprotected by anything else, they can easily just sentry missile everything. So that's why I put the crawlers like that in the front vertically, so they can, or they will, tank sentry missiles if my opponent decides to sentry missile, and they won't get to my main units behind, which are in this case right now the mustangs. And also put one pack of crawlers on the left behind the tower. They are just there to kind of delay that side, so my opponent can't just run through to my tower on that side. Just to buy me a little bit of time, which should hopefully be enough for me to get through the tower on the right. And I'm buying 2 more crawler packs just to finish off my positioning there, and also put one behind the tower on the right just to cover my flank there. Because usually with these types of strategies, since you're so aggressive, your towers are somewhat exposed and your opponent can kind of easily flank, so I'm already kind of covering for that. But also, because I didn't really fully know what to do with my money, I'm very inexperienced with this type of play, so I wasn't really sure. But yeah, it worked out this turn. So I got through on the right, got the tower. A couple of units left on the other side from my opponent. And we are about to go towards each other's towers. I got the tower first, and my mustangs took out the arc light before it could do any more damage. Also, based on the positioning, by the way, I feel like my opponent expected me to go aggressive, because vertical fangs with arc lights right behind are really good against what I'm doing, actually. Though at the same time, maybe could have also been just standard play. Would have also been good if I positioned normally, I guess. I took subsidized Stormcallers here. Stormcallers not really usually go with these types of aggressive strategies. However, it was just too good. Subsidized Stormcallers and the positioning by my opponent. So these vertical fangs with arc lights behind, they just invite me to Stormcaller them. So I'm putting one with my main army on the right and one a little bit to the left to take care of the units in the middle. And my opponent also went for Stormcallers and immediately got the launcher overload upgrade, so they shoot faster, which is really good against aggressive strategies. Because the downside of launcher overload is reduced range on the Stormcallers, but since I'm pushing in aggressively, doesn't really matter that they don't have that much range, and they just shoot so much faster and kill my stuff faster. So this was a good call by my opponent. However, also my Stormcallers really good, obviously, and took care of basically everything that wasn't the Stormcallers really quickly. And then the Stormcallers were by themselves, and they just need some chaff in front to block for them. Also, first time I checked, right now my opponent is cost control. I again forgot to check right away. You should always do that first, so you know what you're dealing with. But I was too focused on this aggressive play. Took too much of my brain cells. Don't really think about anything else. Picking Rhino drop here, cause it seems really good. Again, I'm playing aggressive anyways, and the Rhino here on the unprotected side could just rush towards the tower, attack the tower, and then, yeah, that's probably a free round, kind of. So initially, by the way, since I started with Mustangs, I was planning to go for steel balls with the Mustangs. However, I don't know, since my opponent went for the Stormcallers, and also since I went for Stormcallers because of the subsidized Stormcallers and the positioning and all that, I kind of cancelled that plan, so I'm not really going for steel balls anymore. I'm not planning to. I'm not fully sure what I'm going for right now, but not steel balls. And also placing one pack of Fangs in front of my left tower, because that one is exposed. And I know that my opponent has Stormcallers, and Stormcallers can snipe a tower if you put them at the very front. And there are actually Stormcallers right now. Not at the very front, but still. Might be good that I covered the tower. And my Rhino's coming in kind of uncontested, is going for the tower right away and taking out the tower. My opponent went for the Incendiary Bomb, which was dealing a lot of damage on the right side there to all my clumped up units. However, my Rhino is also really good here, as long as he can dodge the missiles of the Stormcallers. But also there are not a lot of Stormcallers left anymore. And this is a round for me, actually. And by the way, on the right side I put crawlers in the flank. These are there to pull apart my opponent's units and pull away the units that are protecting the tower on the right. So I'm aggressively pushing in towards the tower on the right, and I'm pulling away the units or distracting the units protecting that tower, so it's even more likely than that I can get in towards that tower. And I'm picking up an Overlord here. That is now my plan. I'm going for Overlords, so I'm not going for Steel Balls, but instead for Overlords. And I'm also picking up the... So I'm doing multiple things that I don't really do ever. So I'm going for Overlords here. I'm going to push in aggressively with a mobile beacon towards the tower there. And my Overlord has the Redeployment Module. I picked that up. I never pick it. So I can move that one around and mess with my opponent, basically. So I'm putting it at the very front there with a mobile beacon this turn, but next turn I can just move it somewhere else. And I'm picking up another Overlord on the right to support my main troops there. My opponent doesn't really have anti-air right now, other than a couple of Fangs, and the couple of Fangs will not do the job against an Overlord. And I'm picking up the speed upgrade, the temporary speed upgrade, so that my Overlord can rush in even faster and take the left tower, hopefully. Also place some crawlers on the left flank, just to distract the defenses there. And here we go. Overlord running in, shooting at Fangs for now, but it's close to the tower, shooting at the Fangs again. But now, yeah, now it's taking the tower, because it was closest to the tower. So that worked. Opponent's units on the right side trickling in. My Stormcallers also doing a lot of work. Mobile beacon, Overlord taking the second tower, and yeah. But this round was basically won by default anyways, because I have two Overlords and my opponent just doesn't have the anti-air to deal with that. So I'm not actually sure how much the mobile beacon Overlord actually did. taking the tower and all that. Not if it mattered. And here there is Strike Specialist, and I'm picking Strike Specialist. I think it's literally the first time ever that I picked Strike Specialist. Because I don't play aggressively and I don't put a lot of units in my opponent's flanks ever. So yeah, I'm doing all the things that I never do in this game. Or in this match. And I put the Overlord with the Redeployment Module in the right flank there. Just to mix things up. And I'm mobile beaconing it towards or behind the right tower and towards the left tower. So I already mobile beaconed last turn, similar to that. You don't need to put the mobile beacon dead on the tower. With range units, and the Overlord is a range unit, it can just shoot while driving by, basically. So it just needs to be in range. And the tower needs to be the closest target for it to attack the tower. And I actually decided to go for the other side, actually, because on the right side is the main defense, and he will probably reinforce it anyways. Also because I have an Overlord there, there will be anti-air on that side for sure. So I decided, oh, left side is actually more likely to come through, so I put it there. I gave my Overlords the ground cannon upgrade, just to deal with everything faster, just some additional damage. I don't have the launcher overload, I think, on the Overlord. I think I wanted to pick it, but I actually didn't have it equipped. So I went for the ground cannon instead. And here we go. Couple of wasps in front of the Overlord, by the way, to block, and it was good. On the left side they blocked the Phoenix shots, so my Overlord is actually still alive and healthy and is taking out the shield and the tower as well. So the wasps in front of the Overlord were actually really important, otherwise the Overlord would have died to Phoenixes. And yeah, this is the round. 3 Overlords surviving, so this is a lot of damage now. Opponent going below 1k health. Shenanigans working so far. Speed Spec is really important and really good, but I picked Orbital Bombardment because I wanted to close it out this turn, and I thought, okay, if I Orbital here, most things die. Hopefully the Phoenixes will die as well, and then I just win the round and win the game. So I wanted to close it out here. That's why I did not pick Speed Specialist. Usually Speed Specialist really good with these types of aggressive strategies where you push in towards the tower quickly. But yeah, again, I wanted to close it out this turn, so I picked up the Orbital. Going for another Overlord and some wasps. And now my Overlord is on the right with wasps in front, similar to last turn, but this time on this side. And hopefully I can push in and get the tower there quickly. I'm not leveling up my Overlords right now, because the damage doesn't really matter, everything dies anyways. My opponent doesn't really have anything tanky. And yeah. Just for the health, it's too expensive right now. So I'm rather deciding to buy some more Overlords. And I'm also, by the way, I got the Mothership upgrade on the Overlords, so they spawn wasps now. So they are less likely to die to the Phoenix shots, because there will be wasps in front to block. And my opponent now also has Mustangs though, Mustangs and Phoenixes, so they are reacting to my Overlords very well. So Mustangs and Phoenix are basically the perfect answer to my Overlords. Orbital did some work, but it's actually really close. On the left side, Overlord is exposed and getting shot at by the Phoenixes. It's really low and it's going to die. RIP. Still have 2 Overlords left, and they spawn some wasps, and I have one Stormcaller, one lonely Stormcaller. Taking out the second tower, and just 2 Arc Lights left. 2 Stormcallers also, actually. And my opponent has 20 health. Unfortunate. By the way, my opponent, I saw them before on stream, and they only talk in Ovo and Ubu. They only use those words, I'm pretty sure. So I decided to Ubu back. But yeah, I'm at full health, and my opponent is at 20 health. So what could go wrong, right? Senior attack specialist, in general, pretty good. Though at the same time, everything my opponent has dies pretty quickly, so it doesn't really matter that much. And I'm picking up parasitic ammo. Parasitic could be really good against the phoenixes in particular. Distracting them. And now I tried to do both flanks, and my opponent kind of covered both flanks by now. So I moved the one overlord back towards my main army, and now I'm trying to push in together with the full force of my main army. Getting range and speed. I want to close it out this turn, and I last second I bought 2 packs of mustangs to help deal with the phoenixes. And I didn't actually move them, so they are stuck in the middle in the standard positioning where they drop. Also, mustangs not yet good enough to deal with basically anything. They definitely need upgrades, at least the range upgrade, or actually the anti-air upgrade. On the right side, I'm kind of coming in, but not really, and my opponent just took my tower. And I didn't take the tower quickly enough, but because my overlords got stuck on mustangs for way too long. Also a reason, ground cannon was actually not good here. Launcher overload would have been so much better, but again, unfortunately I did not have that tech with me right now. Ground cannon just attacks too slowly, and it's also so much overkill because my opponent doesn't really have any tanky units. So yeah, launcher overload would have probably won me the game already. I'm very certain of that. Anyways, taking range on my mustangs. So now I have 4 mustang packs with range, and 2 of them I just upgraded to level 2. So I really want them to help me out with the mustangs, but also somewhat with the chaff, also with the opponent's mustangs as well. Since last turn my overlords, as I already said, got stuck on the opponent's mustangs for way too long. Repositioning my one overlord. Hopefully this way they actually attack the tower quicker, because last turn they got stuck on the mustangs coming in from the right there. And here we go. I'm not sure if I actually spent all my money, but I got some additional stormcallers because of the mustangs, I think. I feel like I should have just gotten the anti-air upgrade on the mustangs this turn in hindsight, but for some reason I didn't, and I went for the stormcallers instead. Mustangs, though, with the additional range, actually taking down some phoenixes now, so that's good. But yeah, it's not enough though. Quite a lot of phoenixes now. So I'm losing pretty hard here. And the game is kind of slipping away from me. I could actually die this turn as well. But so can my opponent, obviously. So this is really close. Picking up Iron Blast. Trying to take out as much as I can. Some Stormcallers, some Phoenixes hopefully. And I'm deciding to shield because my opponent might also go for Iron Blast. Overlord's not going to get shielded though, since they are air units. And I'm finally also getting the anti-air upgrade on the Mustangs. This should help me deal with the Phoenixes a lot. I'm picking up launcher overload on my Stormcallers. Again, just trying to take out the chaff and the Mustangs quicker. If I could kill the Mustangs quick enough, then I will have Wasps left from my overlords and they will tank the Phoenix shots and then I will win the round. I also picked up the armor upgrade on my overlords because, well, there are Mustangs and I don't want the Mustangs to help deal damage to my overlords. And with the armor upgrade they block a ton of damage from those at least. Not from the Phoenixes, but let's see. Iron Blast coming in, but not killing my overlords because they drive forward too quickly. I'm actually pushing in here. My Iron Blast really good, taking out a lot. My overlords not dying to the Mustangs at all. And I just ran him over this turn. So yeah, I still managed to close it out. Almost slipped away from me, that's a ton of damage, minus 3,500. This was interesting. I wanted to try something new, so I did that. Aggressive push, strike specialist, mobile beacon towards towers, redeployment module, all that kind of stuff. Anyways, hope you enjoyed. Hope this was interesting. It was interesting to me. I find this really stressful to play myself because that's not really my type of play. But I wanted to try it out and yeah, kind of worked out, I guess. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed and I will see you in the next video. Take care. Bye.